Sexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please hit the great big subscribe button down below, and don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. And also don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as we go along if you're appreciating the content and you think it's good. So, not every asexual likes the word platonic. How come that is? Right, okay. So, I have to say, I'm one of those people, the asexual person, maybe the only one in the world that doesn't like the word platonic. Not for me. I'm quite happy for any other asexual to call whatever they want platonic friendship, platonic love, want a platonic partner. I am quite happy for that. It's great. But I don't like it when it's aimed at me. So basically, most people associate aromantic asexuals with the word platonic. So aromantic asexuals are the ones that lack romantic attraction, and they also lack sexual attraction. And aromantic asexuals get very annoyed when most, relationships are based on some sort of notion of romantic love and a romantic relationship. That really can annoy some aromantic asexuals. They get fed up with all the media, all the publicity, all the sort of stereotypes that every relationship's got to have romance in it. Just like all of us asexuals, the majority of us anyway, we usually get fed up with the fact that society sees relationships as having to be sexual. So sexuals obviously are happy usually. Asexuals get annoyed and fed up that every relationship has to have a sexual element, that love, without sex seems in society like it doesn't exist, which simply isn't true. And then aromantics can also, those aromantics are ones who lack romantic attraction. And if it's an aromantic asexual, as a person who lacks romantic attraction as well as sexual attraction, they get fed up with, the fact that every relationship seems to have romance in it, right? Which is fair enough. We've all got our own values and beliefs, and everything, is valid. I particularly think us as a huge community are very valid in our opinion that, and feelings, and our knowledge and experience that love, hi Andy, nice to see you, that love can exist without sex. So it's really founded that we can get annoyed with sexuals thinking that love has to, that sex has to exist without love, because we know it doesn't have to. And we also know, if we appreciate aromantics, or we are aromantic, I'm not an aromantic, but if we understand each other as a community, we understand that aromantics can love without the need for romance. Right, okay. So, equally, romantics, such as myself, can get very annoyed that people believe in society, if there's no sex involved, then you're looking for a platonic friend or a platonic relationship. So I get annoyed about that, just as much as aromantics get annoyed about the romantic notion that has to be in a relationship. I get annoyed with the notion that if I'm not having sex as a romantic person, it can only be considered as a platonic friend. And I got that in the past when I didn't know I was asexual. Even my parents turned around to me and said, when I said that I didn't want sex with the guy I was seeing, "Oh, you just want a platonic friend, you do." And that really, really hurt me, because that's not what I want. I don't even use the word platonic. It never enters my vocabulary for myself. I use it for other people who like to use the term platonic, friendship or relationship, or circumstance, but I do not use it for myself, and I do not like it for myself. I do not experience any platonic attraction, right? So my category of friends, they fall into mates, as in like a guy would talk about a mate, he's my mate, or they fall into some romantic notion usually. I can have friends I'm close to, but I don't consider those using the word platonic. It just doesn't enter my vocabulary. I don't like it. And it just gets so frustrating when, people think just because sex isn't involved and that for a romantic person, it's just got to be platonic. And, I just get so peed off with that, to be quite honest with you. And I know a lot of the sites as well can have this word platonic partner on it, and I just don't relate to that. As a very romantic person, I do not relate to that type of relationship whatsoever, and I'm a hyper romantic. I don't call friends platonic, all right? I just don't call them platonic, because the majority of my friends, like I've said, that they fall into mates or some sort of romantic notion or some sort of, my mind, it might be the same for loads of people, they just don't say it like this. My mind goes, would I fancy him? Do I fancy him? Would I like to be in a relationship with him? Would I not like to be in a relationship? Could I be in a relationship with I? Could I not? And that might be just my personality that self-analyzes consistently all the time in my head, because when I'm on the path to finding a partner for myself, the guys who are my friends and stuff, I pose a question. Sometimes I'm just like, no, definitely not. Couldn't do that. He's just my mate. Well, some people I know are just my mate. So it doesn't even, the romantic notion and question doesn't even ever crop up. Like I got a friend who lives in Exeter, and I know that me and him are not suitable. Sometimes I think it would be great if me and him did like each other more in the theoretical sense. We both live in the same city. But in a practical, realistic sense, it's like, no, me and him are 100% not suitable, and I just consider him as a mate, like a guy would say to a guy, you're my mate, right? Like you pat someone on the back, hi, how you doing, mate? That type of thing. That's the type of feelings. I just have mates for him. I don't have any romantic feelings, any romantic notion, nothing like that whatsoever, right? And I have that with some other people who are just my friends as well. But to me that's not the person who's in my city. To me, he's not a platonic friend. There's no platonicness. It's just like he's my mate. I don't like the word platonic. I've never liked the word, and I think, like I said, it's because my parents have really a lot of really put emphasis on the fact that if you don't have sex, it's gotta be platonic. And it's like, no, if I don't want to snog my friends. I mean, I know what I'm saying is maybe I do want to snog from some of my friends, but what I'm saying is if I'm in a relationship with someone, I could kiss them, but I won't. What I should have rephrased it as, not that I don't want to, but that I with a lot of them I don't want to, because British guys I usually can't kiss. But I've still got a lot of British friends. But I think about it in a romantic way sometimes. I think, could I be with a person or not? But what I'm saying, I would not go there with a friend. I would only do that type of thing in a relationship with a partner. So a platonic relationship is something that would never enter my vocabulary for me, because I'm a hyper romantic. I'm a romantic person. So when I had a friend, right, and I sent him a message on Facebook Messenger, and when I sent him this message on Facebook Messenger, he came back and used the word platonic, which is why I had to tell you how frustrating it is for me personally, right? I mean, if you'd had people growing up all your life saying basically if you don't want sex, you can only have a platonic relationship, it would probably annoy the heck out of you if you're romantic, because, I see kissing as a very intimate thing. Just because I'm not having sex, it's not something I would do. It's not something I would class as platonic. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't class that as platonic. It just doesn't enter my head. And so I'm trying to find my friend's message now. Where have I put it? Right, okay. So this was my message to him at the beginning. It was quite a while ago. He only just replied to me. So this was like just after New Year, on the 3rd of January. So I put how to them, how are you before the New Year? I put, how are you doing? How was Christmas for you? Hugs and 2 kisses, right? So I don't really think I usually put hugs and kisses on his messages, and he's technically just a friend. So I thought I'd just say I'm practicing conditional love towards my friends this year. rather than pursuing a romantic relationship, hence the hugs and kisses. Right, and I had to re-explain myself because I obviously didn't explain myself very well. So it's partly, I took it on board that obviously I didn't explain myself very well, but it just really annoyed me that he didn't do it on purpose to annoy me. It's just that it personally triggered me. When you get triggers in life, and obviously if you've heard years and years of someone saying you just want a platonic friend, and it's like, just because I'm not having sex, I don't want a platonic friend, it makes me want to scream, then, it's like a trigger for me. Just like I expect a lot of aromantic asexuals get absolutely triggered when people are like, when people say, well, you can't have a relationship if there isn't romance or sex. Do you see what I mean? It's annoying for aromantics, which I completely understand because I get annoyed with the other way. So we both get annoyed in the different terms being used. Like you've got to be one, or you've either got to be romantic or or have sex. Or in the case of aromantics, you get annoyed that you've got to be romantic or have sex. And in someone like me's case, who's hyper romantic, I get annoyed you've got to be sex or platonic. You can't be in the middle. It just pees me off. And so this is what his reply was to the fact I said about unconditionally loving my friends. And he said, that sounds fantastic. I'm sure you'll have no problem finding and maintaining the platonic bonds you desire. And that is not what I want. Because that makes me sound like that makes me sound like I'm an aromantic person. Someone who just wants platonic bonds. And it just annoyed the heck out of me. Not intentionally by him, but it just annoyed the heck out of me because I obviously didn't explain myself. So then I explained myself. I didn't have to explain myself, but I did. Because I didn't explain that it annoyed me because it's not his fault. It's just a huge trigger. Because maintaining the platonic bonds you desire, it just sounds like I'm an aromantic person, someone who likes platonic bonds, and I'm not like that at all, right? I have to be very, very clear on this. Just because I'm older as well, I want a young, foreign guy to be in a relationship with, a romantic relationship with, to kiss loads, to cuddle, and to be very physically close to, like bodies intertwined with clothes on, just not the intercourse and, the sex stuff. And I don't really need a lot of other stuff either, but I do need really, really intimate kissing, public displays of affection. I need all the teenager style kissing and romance and all that full on, like sitting on the guy's lap, full on. That's not a platonic bond situation. Do you see what I mean? And I think obviously because I was talking about friends, maybe that's what he meant. But it's when it says platonic bonds, I don't know. It just gets to me. He probably just meant close friendships, because obviously I've got close friendships with my friends, haven't I? I do have a bond, but I don't use the word platonic in that. To me, it's like close friends, really good close friends. But to me, a platonic bond is something more than a friend with a friend. Do you know what I mean? Because to me, it's like a platonic bond. It's like you're having lots of relationships and lots of like intimate bonds with people that are your friends. Like you might be an aromantic, for example, who likes having lots of cuddles and stuff. You see what I mean? It's where I'm coming from. So I don't expect you to agree with me. I might be the only one in the world that feels like this, but I hope you can relate to the fact that, there seems to be all these rules, like, you can't, like for aromantics, it's annoying that, sex or romance has to be involved. For someone like me, it's annoying that if I don't want sex, it's got to be a platonic friendship or relationship. It's like, no, it's not. To me, kissing, the way I like to kiss is very passionately. That's very intimate. It's not just a platonic thing. Do you know what I mean? It just, And so, it just really got to me. And I thought I would stand alone if I have to in this and say there's one asexual here that doesn't like the word platonic. I might be the only one in the entire world, planet, universe, because I do not experience platonic attraction. I don't experience that. It goes straight to some sort of feeling of romantic notion, unless I'm just mates with them usually, And if I'm really, really close to my male friends, sometimes well, nowadays it seems to be fine, but in the past it was really difficult to do that, be close to guys and not let the hyper-romanticism get away. But because thanks for the thumbs up, I appreciate this, but because the friendship is so much more important and overpowers any little friendship, because of friendship overpowers any romantic notion, then the romantic notion is just that, a romantic notion. It isn't like, oh, I'm going to get upset if this person can't be in a relationship with me. It's not like that, because they're just my friends, and the friendship is so powerful. Do you know what I mean? I've got really strong bonds. But anyway, so this is what I wrote back to him in a really nice way, right? Because obviously it's not his fault. He didn't know that I was going to trigger me. So I put, although I did not mean I'm looking for, although, you know, because he said about he does a course called Compassionate Living. It might be right up my street. And I said, oh, thank you. Really good you do that course. Although I did not mean I am not looking for a romantic relationship still. I am with a younger foreign guy in his 20s who can match my needs. What I was trying to say, which did not come across quite right, was that I am not actively pursuing it like I did. So therefore I can give more love out to my friends to practice unconditional love more, to those who are maybe much different to me. This guy's different to me. You know, the guy's my friend, this particular friend's different to me. So that's what I was kind of like, yeah. So I put this, so this year, instead of making romantic relationship a huge focus of my life, I figured that as I have waited 4 years to find my asexual soulmate, who I believe is Indian, in the least foreign, then I can wait another 4 years. I am by nature a hyper-romantic. Having amazing friends helps to calm that down so I can feel less needing a relationship anyway. Not that I need one in the sense that I am independent and can live happily as a single person. I'm heavily focused on career, making money, finances and my businesses this year, including going back to helping entrepreneurs more with their social media, rather than just helping asexuals. I'm still doing everything for asexuals, just the other business stuff on top. I think once my finances are more healthy, and as foundation is a friendship, as friendship is the foundation for a healthy and happy relationship anyway, then I can turn my attention more towards my romantic interest. The word platonic does not even enter my vocabulary. I've never liked that word. I just want to love my friends more as it feels good. I don't experience platonic attraction. I still know I am meant to be with my younger foreign asexual soulmate. I just know I can be patient and wait another 4 years for him to show up. You see, because sometimes people think as well that, you know, when you're older, you're just looking for a companion or platonic friend, and that's really not what I'm after. And I just, like, you know, I don't think he gets that. And I just felt a bit misunderstood, which, you know, maybe he did understand me in his own way, but it's not my understanding of myself. You know what I mean? I just, you know, I mean, my friend yesterday, I met my friend and she was talking about relationships because she's met this guy she's really interested in, and he seems quite keen on her as well. And because she was talking about that, then obviously it's making me think more of a relationship with a foreign guy again. Like, I'm like, oh, I just want my Indian soulmate to show up, hurry up, type thing. And I'm like, oh, no, it's all right, I can wait 4 years. But do you know what I mean? It does, like, when, I mean, I'm not as bad as I used to be. I don't feel as urgent as I used to be on it. I don't feel like, you know, I don't dwell on it as much. And, you know, but in that moment, you know, it does make me think, where's my younger soulmate just to kiss and hold hands with and get on with life with? Do you know what I mean? It drives you a bit insane sometimes if you think about it. But I'm quite calm this year in the fact it'll probably be another 4 years before I meet him. So I've kind of resigned to that fact now. And that's why I've calmed down on it a lot. And I've got lots of good friends. And but I'm still looking. It's just I'm not pursuing it like I was. I'm not making it a huge focus. But I'm still looking. I'm still ASAP talking to guys. I'm still, well, I haven't been on asexual dating sites much lately, to be honest. ASAP, when I've got my phone switched on, is easy because I just end up messaging people back. Because I usually get some messages and I usually message back and I message other people on there. So I probably use that more than anything at the moment. because I haven't really been on. I've got 2 messages. One's from someone on here, Andy, I've got a reply to, and I've got another message on asexuality.com from another friend. They're just friends. It's funny that I through an asexual dating site I get friends messaging me, but no people that are interested in me romantically. I find that quite ironic, but there are people who just use it for friendship on there as well. But yeah, so that's my take on the word platonic, you know. I just like, and like I said, you know, it's like if for example an aromantic person had grown up with parents who just believed that romance and sex had to be involved in every relationship, it would gnaw the heck out of them as well. So it probably, the word would, you know, romantic would probably pee them off to a certain extent if it was used in the context of them. But I have no problem, absolutely no problem with aromantics using it for them, because I know that's what they would usually use. It would go nicely with them. It's how they feel, and they use that word and they understand it and it applies to them. So I have absolutely no problem with anyone else using it. It's just personally for me. And I do find it hard on asexual dating sites. If someone says they're looking for a platonic relationship, I'm thinking, well, I'm not. I'm looking for kissing. And usually I see a platonic relationship as not having kissing involved, to be honest. I see a platonic meaning more friendship and buddies and pals. Do you know what I mean? With no intimate kissing involved. I don't see intimate kissing as something, the word platonic, going together. You know, and I love intimate kissing, you know. I can't wait to, you know, in terms of romance, to cuddle and kiss a younger foreign guy. You know, I don't get attracted to older guys, not that much. I need my younger foreign guy, you know, so I can live the vibrant, energetic, fun-filled life that I always enjoy on my own, you know. But with someone, it'd be cool, it'd be great. So much fun. I know the guy's out there, I can feel it, but it's trying to get him to find me is a bit of a nightmare. It's like I need a beacon. You know what's really sad, isn't it, is there's so many people that say they're lonely all over the world, but I mean not many people take that much action to actually go and find their soulmate, find the person they're meant to be with. I know a lot of asexuals feel lonely and like they're going to be alone forever, but you've got to be proactive and keep pursuing, you know. You know, I like I said, I'm not actively pursuing like I was, as in the sense of making my whole year the focus of relationships like I was doing last year. This year, I'm focused on different stuff, and I believe that once my finances are better, I'll be in a better position. Because because I'm going to have to probably travel to him. So say the guy lives in London. At the moment, I haven't got the finances to go backwards and forwards to London, but I love London. You know, in the future, I'll have the finances to do that. So, but you know, that's not what it's like at the moment. I mean, it'd be great if there was an asexual on my doorstep somewhere in Exeter where I live. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I live opposite a supermarket which is full of foreign guys. So my friend said to me yesterday, it's so funny if the foreign guy was on your doorstep, wouldn't it? I said, well, yeah, it'd be great, but I don't think any of the people in my supermarket are asexual. Not the foreign ones, anyway. There's only one person I mentioned, and I told you to my asexuality to, and he looked like, when I was talking at the conference, he's like, oh right, okay. And then there's a guy that fancies me in there, as far as I know, but I think he's highly sexual because he looks at me like he wants me in a sexual way usually, and so with his eyes. So yeah, but he did have the cute boy look last time I went in, but he was there. But yeah, so that's just my take on the word platonic. I just wanted to let people know, because, you know, there might be someone else in the world that feels like I do. And, you know, I want to be able to reach out to the few minority people in the world that may understand how I feel and may want someone to understand how, you know, them. And I think it's so important that if you've got something that's on your mind, that you do say it, you know, and that you love everyone and however they are, but, you know, you don't want to be pushed into a label that really doesn't fit you, that other people have for you. You know, I just don't see the word platonic and intimate kissing and cuddling and sitting on the guy's lap. Do you know what I mean? I don't see that. It's complex, but I think I get it. Oh, do you get it, Andy? Yeah, I tried to make it really simple by saying, you know, that aromantics, they don't usually like the fact that sex and romance usually has to go together in a relationship, as society sees it, that you can't have a relationship without sex or romance, because aromantics, so it's either romantic attraction They don't need romance or sex in a relationship to still love the person and have a relationship. But for romantics, like me, I get equally fed up that society thinks you either have sex or it just means you're friends. Do you see what I mean? That's what society believes. If you're not having sex with someone, you're just friends. If you look on dating coach sites and you read through blogs, if you're not having sex with someone, they usually say, well, you're just friends then. Sex is what makes it a relationship. Sex is the difference between having a relationship and not having a relationship. And if you're not having a relationship, you're, at best, you're platonic friends, basically, really close friends. That's what, and that attitude just drives me absolutely insane. Completely. It just annoys the heck out of me. I've seen it loads, oh, if you're not having sex, you're just platonic friends then, you're just companions. Which, if you're aromantic asexual, most aromantic asexuals, they want either a companionship or platonic friendship or, platonic relationship, or, they're fine on their own. Do you know what I mean? But in general, if they want a relationship rather than a friendship, it's a platonic relationship or queer platonic relationship. Whereas, that's not who I am. That's not what I want. I want a really romantic relationship with a younger foreign guy in his 20s where I can kiss, cuddle, and all that type of thing. And it just annoys me that society and people believe that if you're not having sex, then you're basically just friends, because it's sex what changes the relationship from friendship into love and romance, which simply isn't true. So yeah, that's my rant over, really. But I hope you understood what I was saying. I guess for the majority of asexuals who do use the word platonic, maybe it's a bit difficult for you to understand. But I just don't use the word platonic at all. It doesn't, and not even with friends. I've never used that word with friends. Platonic has always seemed too close to me. It's always, platonic friendship has always seemed like, I don't know, like it's too close. I am close to my friends, but platonic friend, just in my mind, the way the vocabulary sounds to me, it sounds too... Or a platonic relationship, especially if they use that with a friend, it sounds like you're in a relationship, because obviously aromantics are in a relationship, but they use the word platonic relationship as opposed to platonic friendship usually. So yeah, I just, it's like, no, if I get into a relationship, it's not a platonic relationship, it's a highly, deeply romantic and kissing and intimately kissing relationship, which I would not do with just my friends. I really, really wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? And so, but I just don't want that intercourse, and I don't need some of the touching. You want a non-sexual romantic relationship, not a platonic one. Correct. Yes. A non-sexual romantic relationship, not a platonic one. Yes. That's how I see it. Exactly. That is perfect. Yes. A non-sexual romantic relationship, and not a platonic one. Although when I say non-sexual, so I mean, I don't mind having some touching. The guy touching me sometimes when I've been in a long-term relationship, on some places, but not others. Others he can get lost. And then I don't mind like kissing and sucking the guy's nipples. Do you know what I mean? His top half. And so that could be seen as a sexual act. So doing that type of thing, because it's what you do, it could also be seen as sensual as well, but, it could be seen as a sexual act. So I have to say I want a no sex ever relationship, a platonic, not a platonic relationship, a no sex ever relationship, romantic relationship, not platonic. But an intimate romantic relationship with boundaries and restrictions. If that makes sense. But yeah, in a nutshell, Andy, I want what you said. No sex relationship, and romantic relationship, not a platonic one. Is exactly what I want. Yeah. An intimate romantic relationship with boundaries. Yeah. I've got to have some boundaries, do you know what I mean? I mean, there's things I don't like. There's places I don't like to be touched. The majority of places, actually. Especially when I first with someone. It's like, no, you can kiss my lips, you can kiss my face, you can kiss my neck, you can kiss my ears, you can kiss my arm. You can even kiss my leg and my feet if you really want. But the rest of my body is, yeah, mine. And then if I've been in a long-term relationship, sometimes I don't mind some touching on my bottom half, but not my top, that I know of. I used to don't mind the top, but lately I don't think so. But I don't mind kissing and licking and sucking the guy's top half, but not his bottom bit. So it's kind of like I'm reversed like that. So I don't know. It's weird, but that's the way I am. So that's very intimate. So yeah. So that's the way I am. But I do know that asexuals, you can get different asexuals. So you can get some asexuals that like to do the touching wherever the other person wants, but they don't like to be touched, and vice versa. They got technical names for it. I think they've got like a rock and a paper. So the paper is what goes over the rock. So the paper is the type of person that wants to do stuff with the, like touch the rock, but doesn't need it back. And yeah, I saw a whole video about it once. I haven't looked at that video for quite a while, but yeah, it's quite interesting because some people they like to be touched and not reciprocate, or they like to do the touch. They like to be touched and not reciprocate, or they like to do the touch and not be reciprocated, or you can get people that like to do both. Or in my case, I've got these boundaries that are kind of like opposite of each other. It's quite funny, but it's weird. Yeah, but I mean, with young foreign guys, I'm a lot happier being physically close to them than I am, like older guys now. So a guy like, say, 24, I'd be far more happier and comfortable around him physically than a guy in his 30s, 40s. It'd be like, I don't like that. I did date a heterosexual guy for 2 months who was 43, but he looked like he was about 35, but he acted very young. But I didn't, it was only pretty much mostly kissing. I let him do. I didn't let him, see me naked, and I didn't let him touch in down below or anywhere like that. Do you know what I mean? I didn't let him touch my boobs. He tried to put a hand down the side nearly, and that was enough. I'm like, that, you're not going any further than having your hands round my sides. That's it. I didn't really like that much. Sometimes I didn't let him do that either because I don't like it. But younger guy, I'm really different with some of the time. Not really, as in I still have boundaries, but do you know what I mean? I don't mind being more intimate, I don't think. It's not as bad for me. It's, quite nice, but I still have boundaries in place. So, yeah, it's strange, isn't it, how we all have our idiosyncrasies, is that the word? We all have things that we like, don't like, that we have words that trigger us and things that trigger us and things that don't. And yeah, it's kind of like we all speak our own language while speaking each other's language at the same time. So, hey ho, it's quite good, quite interesting. But I just thought it's nice for me to say this because I don't know if there's anyone else in the world that feels like I do and doesn't use, who's asexual and doesn't use the word platonic. Don't think I've come across. I've heard of people who say they don't like the word queer because I don't like that word associated with me either. So I have heard some asexuals say that they don't like that word associated with them personally either. So I don't class myself as queer at all. I don't like the word for me personally. I just don't. So yeah, I have heard some asexuals say they don't like that, but I've not heard any asexuals say they don't like the word platonic. So it'd be interesting to see if there's anyone else, But I think it's important to appreciate that aromantics get fed up with, the fact that society seems to think romance has to be involved in a relationship or sex. And I think equally, romantic people can get fed up that if you're not having sex, people see you as just having a friend or companion. And when you're snogging their face off or getting very intimate with someone, it's not really what you do with a friend usually, is it? Well, it's not what I do as a friend, as a romantic person anyway. I do know some aromantic asexuals can get very intimate with their friends and kiss and cut, well, I don't think they kiss them. They cuddle them, sometimes in bed and things like that. So, yeah, different boundaries again. So, yeah, that's what makes asexuality so complicated sometimes, and getting a right person for a relationship, because different people have many different boundaries and different words they use and different meanings, and it can get like a bit confusing. I think you just have to be very straight about what you like and what you don't like in a relationship especially if you're looking for a relationship. You gotta say, well, I like this, I don't like that, and kind of like be very clear on what is nice for you and not nice for you, because I just think there's so many people using different terms and different words, and got different feelings and emotions associated with different words. It's like in some groups there's like trigger words. You're not, supposed to say, oh, this is a trigger word and stuff like that. So, people can get triggered by all sorts of things, can't they? I know, some people I'm sex repulsed, but I have no problem with people talking about sex. Whereas some sex repulsed people, they can't stand any talk about sex whatsoever. They can't stand sexual jokes, any sexual innuendo, any posts about sex or stuff like that, I mean, loads of people don't like talking about, especially the sex repulsed ones don't like talking about masturbation. There's quite a few people that can get funny about that, and I'm in a sex repulsed group. I'm not talking about my group. I've got a asexualized dating group, which is people who don't want sex. It doesn't mean to say everyone's sex repulsed in there though. But I'm in a couple of sex repulsed groups. In one group I posted about my blog post to do with different types of masturbation, and some of them got very offended by that because they don't like talking about. I mean, years ago I didn't even like that, to be honest. I didn't even used to think about it or like it, so I do understand where they're coming from. But I've just changed in that respect now. I just think, well, people are single for years, then why not? If that's what they want to do themselves, they don't have to have someone doing that for them, do they? So I suppose I've really changed on my opinion on that. Like, I don't think, well, within me, it's not so taboo anymore. I think, if people want to touch themselves, then go for it, really. You know what I mean? Like a lot of asexuals are probably going to be single for quite a number of years anyway, until they find the right asexual person for them, or if they don't mind being with sexual, and so I think if they want to touch themselves, great, go ahead. Do you know what I mean? You may as well if it makes you happy and you like it and you get pleasure out of it, you may as well while you're single, don't you? You know what I mean? Don't need to rely on anyone else to do that for you. In a relationship, I've always preferred a person to do that, a guy to do that for me. I say person, it's always a guy because I don't like women in that way. But, do you know what I mean? I've always preferred a guy doing that, but seeing as I've been on my own for 7 years, and I've tried that since I've been single, which I've never done before. I guess I'm not feeling so bad about it now. I don't think it's taboo like I used to think. I just lots of people do it. It's like, if they want to do it, I've heard quite a few people in asexual groups saying, well, I like to take care of myself in that way. And I think that's quite sweet, really. It's a part of self-loving, isn't it? If you want to do that, it makes you happy. Obviously, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. You don't have to. But I'm saying that if people want to do that, it's part of self-love, isn't it? That, make yourself physically happy. You don't need anyone else coming along doing that for you. Well, then that's good. I think that's healthy thinking in that way. It's only if people become addicted to it, then that becomes a problem. Yeah, people can become very addicted to it, but, And I posted in one of my groups my asexualized dating the Grey and Demi one today. Does anyone use vibrators? I mean, I've never tried one of them at all. It just, I just look... The reason why that cropped up is because someone clicked through one of my links and they went through to buy a vibrator, because I'm an Amazon affiliate, if you want to know. So if I share products on Amazon, they click through. If they buy anything through my link, doesn't matter that I'm not advertising. I don't advertise vibrators. But probably someone saw my asexual perspectives book, Love, Life and Sex, A Celebration of Asexual Diversity. They probably thought it was about sex, clicked through the book, thought, oh, that book's not for me, because it says those who don't experience sexual attraction end up getting a vibrator instead. But it could be an asexual person that's got a vibrator, because, you know, like I said, a lot of asexuals, they want to take care of themselves. So this product came up and I was like, that's an interesting product. It's like not something I would usually look at. And I'm like, oh, right, okay. It's for a man, not a woman. I'm like, okay. Yeah, do people use these things? Because I don't, you know, because I'm inexperienced. I have no experience of using one of them whatsoever. I don't even, like, really usually look at them. But I was like, okay, is this what people do? I'm just like, it's good for me to know these type of things, because obviously I've got an asexual channel and some people and groups, and some people do bring up masturbation and stuff, so I thought, oh well. But and I clicked through it, I'm like, oh, that's what person bought, okay. Like, but you know, I know the heterosexual guy I dated as well. I know before he met me, particularly, he was, well, when I first met him, he said, oh, sex only lasts a few minutes, it's boring anyway. But when I got to know him, he's the type of guy that had lots of sex and probably would have carried on having sex whilst he'd been seeing me. So thank God I didn't continue seeing him. And yeah, he said, oh, I have a vibrator and I strap it on every night as soon as I get home. And he said, so you shouldn't really masturbate because it's very addictive. Don't get addicted to it. Don't do it. He was telling me. He's like, don't do it. It's addictive. And I'm like, so that's what he does every night. I'm like, okay. Every single night. He just plugs it in and it's good to go. I'm like, okay. But yeah, he was saying not to get addicted to it. So I suppose, yeah, he does that as a routine. He's got into a routine of doing that. But I suppose it's better than him going out doing that to loads of women, in my opinion. But I think he's done that to loads. I think he's had sex with a lot of women anyway, from what he told me. He took them out for meals for a couple of hours, paid for their meals, and then had sex with them. And he expected that pretty much. I'm like, oh, it's just so gross. So gross. It's just so, oh. And he never got a second date. I thought, yeah, I'm not surprised. But then when I was dating him, when I first started dating him, he's like, oh, I haven't done any kissing. I don't know how to kiss. I've had sex, but I don't do the kissing. I'm like, okay, I can train you up. But I mean, do you know what I mean? I was doing pretty much all the work. I don't want a sexual guy anyway. It's ridiculous. I kind of don't exactly know why I went out with him. But I do, because when I went out with him, I wasn't his girlfriend. I mean, went to places with him. I mean, you know, dated him. But I wasn't his girlfriend, although he acted as though I was some of the time. But yeah, he was just a nightmare. He was a psycho one in the end with the blade in the club. Yeah, won't go into that. If you've not watched that video, that's another video you probably should see. It was, yeah, he had a blade on him when we went to Ministry of Sound Club. At a theme park, Thorpe Park. We went away for the weekend and they confiscated it, and I didn't know he got it on him, and I was quite scared going back to the hotel in the car when he had a blade that he refused to put in the bin, and they said, if you ever come in here with that again, we will literally report you to the police. It was horrible. It was like when all the club had shut down practically, it was just security guards there, they kept this item for him. And it was a blade. And I'm like, what on earth are you doing? It was like one of those penknife type blade things. But, you know, pocket knife. But it's even still, what the heck's he doing on that? When we're going to a theme park on roller coasters and to a nightclub. And I'm like, well, who are you going to kill with it? He goes, not you. And I'm like, do you know what I mean? You just like, he's a psycho. And he also believes that everyone should have implants in their brain. I'm like, so yeah, that was like the year before last, and I'm so glad that I stopped dating him after 2 months. It's like, I don't know why I end up with these people sometimes, but I guess I feel sorry for some guys who are a bit different. I'm attracted to guys who are different anyway. I think he has some mental health problems, to say the least. But I think obviously he had really mental health problems then, but I thought he had some mental health problems before. And I kind of get attracted to people, I guess, sometimes with mental health problems, because I feel for them, because I know that life's tough and I've been through some tough times, and I guess I'm drawn. But do you know what I mean? Because I'm drawn to people who are different, outsiders, people who are not, you know, quite normal, because I'm not normal, but I'm normal. I'm not normal, but I'm not insane, if you know what I mean. But yeah, he was Kane. Yeah, he clearly was a psychopath when he's got a knife on him, and he was very how can I put it? Very paranoid about things as well. Yeah, displayed. He said he was paranoid pretty much, and displayed. You know, the blade thing was horrible. So I'm not putting my life in danger like that. It's like, geez, I was lucky that I was fine. But I mean, he didn't register. The next day I had hardly slept. The next day I was so upset because I had to spend time the next day with him in the theme park, and he was acting really like an idiot, and it was just horrible. As soon as I got home and I spoke to Mum, she's like, "You're not going to see him again." I'm like, I really like him, but no, he's a psycho. So I just said bye. I actually saw him last year as well, like nearly a year later. I was going for a job interview, and he was coming out the door, holding the door open for me, and he goes, "Oh, it's Sandra, isn't it?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, as if you could forget, but never mind. And he was going, "Oh, I've taken up a hobby. I've taken up woodwork." And I'm like, "What have you made?" He goes, "Oh, I'm going to make this, that and the other." I'm thinking, well, you haven't made anything yet then, have you, if you're going to? Very weird guy. Very weird guy. Anyway, just keep away from psychos. People that, you know, he doesn't think he's got any mental health problems. It's the people that don't think they're mentally ill, who act like that actually are. Do you know what I mean? And the people that have mental illness, a lot of the time, it's just unfortunate circumstances in society and the way people have trapped them that's forced them to feel and behave and act in certain ways, because they feel excluded and upset and misunderstood, and really quite a few don't really have that much wrong with them. They're just not got understanding, do you know what I mean? So anyway, I'm digressing now, really digressing. Anyway, if you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you, Andy, so much for watching today, because I know you've been watching the whole time. I so appreciate you. You're an awesome friend, and so appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing you for my birthday. It'll be amazing. And thank you for coming to that. That's my next asexual meetup. Andy's coming to my birthday. Going to a theme park. Hey, I'm inviting other asexuals as well, but I know it's going to be a very small group, because going to a theme park, having to leave Exeter and going to a theme park for people is going to be quite a lot. You're welcome. Luckily, you live near the venue, but other people, like, they've got to get down to Exeter, then got to get transport. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it too. They've got to get transport and everything, stay in a hotel, and then they've got to obviously come with me. So I think it's going to be a really small group, but it doesn't matter. At least I know you're coming and we can see each other. It's going to be cool. It'll be so much fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm so happy. Because usually I spend my birthday on my own, and I won't be this year. It'll be really, really nice for me. Really nice. Yay! Asexual company with a good friend. Woo woo! So I'm really happy about that. So yeah, a couple of people have already said no, they can't come. So I haven't advertised it widely. I've just been asking the usual crowd who love to come to most meetups. But one's got to get back to me, so see what happens, isn't it? It's early days, it's April, so yeah. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. And an Ace birthday, yeah, it'll be brilliant, really good. I'm looking forward to it so much. And yeah, it's going to be amazing. Thank you so much. Yay! I'm really pleased. And yeah, so if anyone else is watching, please give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that great big bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you, Andy, so much for tuning in. Thank you anyone else who's watching, and take care. Night night, or good morning wherever you are, whatever time of day